Using each of the following numbers once only, how many different ways can the numbers be arranged if you want to end up with a 5-digit number greater than 56,300? The numbers that we can choose from include 2, 3, 5, 6, and 8. To solve this, we're going to look at 5 different cases to determine how many different numbers we can create. Let's consider case 1. Let's say that we choose our first digit to be the number 6. If we've chosen 6 to be our first number, then that means regardless of which numbers follow, our number is going to be at least 60,000, which is greater than the 56,300 minimum. So, if our first digit we chose 6, that means there is one option that we chose. The second digit can be any of the remaining numbers, since our number is already large enough. We have 4 different numbers that we can choose from, so there are 4 options, 1 times 4. For our third number, it'll just be one of the numbers less, so 3 different options to choose from. For the next digit, there'll only be 2 numbers to choose from, and for our final digit, there will be 1 remaining number. If we multiply these together using the fundamental counting principle, we get 4 factorial, or 24. Let's look at the case where 8 is our first digit. This one is very similar to the case above, since if we choose 8 to be our first digit, then that means regardless of which numbers we put afterwards, it's going to be larger than the 56,300 minimum. So, if we chose 8 to be our first digit, that's one option. And then the second digit can be any of the 4 remaining numbers. Similarly, the next digit can be any of the 3 remaining, and then any of the 2 remaining, and then the final digit. Using the fundamental counting principle, we can multiply these together to determine the number of options, which is 4 factorial, or 24. Let's look at a few other cases here that are a little bit more specific. Let's consider 5 being our first digit. That means that we've chosen one option here. Let's consider then that our next digit is 6. If our next digit is 6, we've used the numbers 5 and 6. The next digit must be at least 3 or higher, which means that we can choose the number 3 or the number 8 next, but not the number 2, since it wouldn't make our number large enough. Therefore, there are 2 choices for this third digit, either a 3 or an 8. Afterwards, doesn't matter which numbers we choose, so it would be one of the 2 remaining numbers, and then the final digit. If we multiply these together, we get 2 times 2, or 4 different options. Let's consider the case now where our first digit is 5, so we've chosen one option, and then our second digit is 8. So if we've chosen the numbers 5 and the numbers 8, then at this point, our number is at least 58,000, which is larger than this 56,300. That means that for our third digit in this location here, any of the remaining 3 numbers, 2 or 3 or 6, can work. So we have 3 options to choose from, and then 2 options, and then the final digit. 3 times 2 gives us 6. And those are every single one of the cases. We can now add up all of our totals to determine how many different 5-digit numbers we can create. So we have our total, 24 plus 24 plus 4 plus 6, and that gives us 58 different options.